Hi guys, this is Desiree of the Succulent Therapy and we're back again with another video. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that you should be reminded of before and after repotting succulent. Some of you might have watched the latest update that I have uploaded. That was just yesterday. In that video, we had unboxed some of the succulents that are added to our collection. And today, we're going to discuss some of the things that you can do to them. First thing that you want to do when you received a plant fresh from the box or you just bought them from a nursery store is to check if there are any pests or insects or any fungal diseases that are present to the plant. If there are none, you can go ahead and continue with what you're doing. And if there is, you might want to separate that plant, that specific plant, from your existing collection in order for it to be contained. After you separate that specific plant, you can go ahead and treat them with some pesticide, insecticide, fungicide, or some home remedies that you would prefer. That is what you can do when you spotted some insect or pest in your succulent. But if there is none, you can go ahead and proceed with the other things that you can do, and that is repotting. When repotting, there are two factors that can determine some of the things that you can do with a plant. This depends on whether your plant is uprooted or when they are on their nursery pot. We have our example right here. This is a Greenovia, by the way, and you can see that it is planted on this nursery pot. And the thing that you want to do just after you receive them is you want to acclimate them to the temperature that you have right now or to your place, because it is definitely different from the place that it came from. For example, this one right here, I got this from Bugyas. As I said, the temperature in Bugyas is kind of different from the temperature here in Baguio, or it's hotter in here than in there. It's a bit cold. As I said, the temperature can drop up to lower than 5 degrees, and that's very cold, wherein the good thing is the succulent love that kind of temperature, and they turn very colorful because of that. And so when you receive a succulent that is potted, it is a great opportunity to let them acclimate first before you transplant them or before you repot them. And so I have to leave this one in here, planted in here, for about a month before I transfer them to another pot. Okay, so what can you do when your succulents are uprooted and that they just came in? The first thing that you want to do is to put them in a tray and let them sit in there for just about 15 minutes. You are letting them breathe and just grasp some air before you repot them. The thing is, you don't have to air dry them because they are air dried enough just before they came in, and so you want to proceed on repotting them. Before anything else, it is important that you know the real classification or the identification of the plant that you just bought, for the reason that you can determine the things that you should do. For example, some plants do not like to be watered. For example, the echeverias, they do not like to be watered often, so you can water them once a week. If it is a sedum, they want to be watered just every other day. For example, the burrito. By just knowing also their identification, you can classify the pots that they want. If it is a sedum, you can put them in a wide pot. They can multiply easily. They can be beautiful with that. If it is a graptopetalum, you can put them in a deeper pot. For example, the marinade, the Mendozae, they can be beautiful and chubbier if they are in a deeper pot. They can be beautiful as they can be. And if it is an echeveria, you can plant them on a shallow pot. That's what they like. Okay, so that's the importance of you knowing the real classification of your plant. You can easily search of the things that you can do with it or how you could deal with it. Okay, so after you classify the pot that you want to plant them into, you can go ahead and choose a soil mix that is appropriate for that succulent. Speaking of repotting, we have our Echeveria dysmentia right here. We are going to repot this right now. I am planning to just let this acclimate for just a bit, but I have noticed that it has outgrown its pot, and I'd like it to be given some room to grow into, and so we will transfer it right now. So I have chosen a pot right here. This is the pot. As you can see, it is a plastic pot, and we'll just have to go on and repot this one. We just have to put that in there and remove the soil. Okay, so I did go ahead and clean this succulent up. I did remove some of the dried leaves. I also had toasted up the soil that it used to be planted on. I took the chance to pluck some leaves right there for propagation, and so we will plant this on this pot right here. As you can see, it's not that deep. It is really ideal for the Echeveria, and it is on the right size of the succulent. One thing that you should be aware of when repotting is the size of the pot that you will be repotting on. If your succulent are small, just like this right here, this is a lot smaller for this big pot right here, and there are chances that your succulent might drown, and so you might want to choose some different pot. It's maybe a lot smaller than this one, a lot shallower, so that the excess water will not be absorbed by your plant, and they can drown on that. They can have that rot in there and they could die. So that is the importance of you choosing the right pot for your succulent. And so I chose this pot right here because it is just the right size of this one, this dysmentia, and has a little room in there. As you can see, there is some gap right there. It will maybe took about 4 months or 6 months for it to outgrow this pot, and then that's the time we will have to repot again. So we will go ahead and plant this one. I think that it's good that I didn't mess up with the farina though. It's really beautiful right there. As you can see, this is the soil mix that I prefer to use. This is a mixture of rice hulls, some cocoa peat, some soil, and a little bit of pumice right there. After you chose the right pot, the right soil mix, and you just repotted your succulent, what will you do after repotting them? So as I said a while ago, that most of our succulents that are being delivered, especially the Korean succulents, are uprooted, and on that time most of the roots of your plants are removed, and so you might want to give some time for your succulents to produce some new roots before you water them. Okay, so after you repot them, you might want to wait for at least 7 days or 2 weeks for them to produce some new roots, and that's the time that you can water them. If you water them too early, some of them might rot and some of them might not absorb water at all because they don't have some new roots on them. So that is with the watering. Let's go ahead and proceed with the light exposure that you can provide to a newly repotted succulent, the thing that you should keep in mind is not to expose them with direct sunlight for about a week. So you have to put them into a filtered sun or indirect sunlight for about a week in order for them not to wilt. Okay, so in that 1 week that you put them into a indirect sunlight, they will have the time to grow some new leaves without the disturbance of some excessive heat. Okay, so that's with the light. And so after that 1 week, you can go ahead and gradually expose them to sunlight. For example, to the second week, you can expose them with the morning sun for at least about 2 to 3 hours. You can do that for at least 3 weeks. For the rest of the week, as long as you know that they are already rooted, you can go ahead and expose them to direct sunlight. That could also help to make them compact, healthy. They will also be colorful. With that, they will be beautiful. Just a little summary regarding on the things that we should be reminded of before and after repotting succulent. First of all, we should know the classification of the plant that we bought so that we know how to deal with them. By that also, we could determine the pot and the soil mix that they need or they prefer so that they will be healthy and alive. Regarding on the light exposure, we should not expose our newly repotted succulent to a direct sunlight in order to prevent sunburn or wilt. For the watering, we can go ahead and water our succulents just after 7 days from the day that we repotted them. That's it for today's video. I hope that I explained the topic well, and if I did not, please let me know on the comment section down below. And shout out also to Mom Jingles Heartstrings. She has this YouTube account. You can go ahead and check on that. She has this vlogs about succulents, and it is very good. Okay, so let me thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, keep safe.